Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host Dylan Silver, and today on the show we have Andreas Pettersson. And Andreas is an RV park enthusiast and the CEO and founder of multiple companies. Andreas, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I love to talk about real estate, so this will be fun.
Absolutely. Before we hopped on here, we were talking about different directions which we could go with the show, and you mentioned just how much we could really talk about the RV park space.
Absolutely. So I come from a background where I did both single family, multifamily. I have my own real estate multifamily portfolio, but because of interest rates, and I have the portfolio in California and the tenant laws are not always so fun, I was looking for alternative things to invest in the commercial real estate space. Stumbled upon, because I met another couple who was doing this, Jason and Erica, and they were absolutely telling me these crazy numbers that you could get as a return as an investor. And I'm like, okay, I'm missing something here. Didn't believe it, and now we started, because of a joint venture with them, we're raising capital. We got our first park in. We are having 4 more. We're about to here start racing for now in Q2. And yeah, the returns are insane, and I realize I can apply all my business knowledge to this. So yeah, I get a little, I can talk forever here, so I think you need to interrupt me and just ask the questions. Otherwise, I will just keep going.
Well, I always say I like to have a guest where there's lots of interaction because it makes my job easier. But for folks who may be unaware, RV parks are considered commercial, but is every RV park, suitable towards someone who's looking for a commercial investment, or is it really a very niche space and you have to know lots about running an RV park?
I love that question. The number one misconception I get is people think it's a mobile park. And it's not a mobile home park. It is a destination. You go camping and you enjoy time with your family. And there's often a destination in terms of a massive pool, hiking, trails, nature. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing is that RV parks in general, like the skill set you need, yes, it is a niche. It's absolutely a niche, but there is an opportunity right now because many of these RV parks were bought, owned by boomers for 30 years, and they want to retire, and they don't always know how to sell them. I see some people come in the space, think it's commercial real estate, think they can just get a park and put a traditional property manager on it and get the results. Not the case. You need to know how to properly do marketing, do sales, local SEO, and really drive customer experience and customer engagement. It's still a very hands-off investment class because you still hire a park manager. But I would say for people who have run been entrepreneurs, run multiple businesses, and really understand how to position an experience, they can absolutely get into this space. Absolutely.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Now, I'm thinking about maintenance. I know nothing about RV parks, Andreas. I know nothing. And so my thing is, these are some basic questions. There's septic tanks in multiple areas throughout these sites, right?
They're either septic tank systems, or you're connected to the sewer. But in the end of the day, the maintenance is cutting grass and making sure the gravel and the roads are okay. The asphalt is okay. There's some maintenance related to, depending on where your park is, winter maintenance and so on. But overall, it's a very hands-off investment class. It's not like you have a building that have been standing there for 50 years. It's, in the end of the day, you have a pad, you have hookups and electricity. So water hookup, sewer hookup, and electricity. That's pretty much it. And the cool thing is that you might have amenities, you might have other reasons why people are going that. The hardest part for me and getting into this space have been, I'm all for like concentrated efforts yields concentrated results. And if you want results, like laser focus. RV parks have typically 5 different value propositions and 5 different products in addition to the actual RV pads themselves. They often have pickleball courts, pools, restaurants, water parks, all these other things around it. So you have some seasonality into it. But again, compared to buying other businesses or other type of real estate right now, the returns are far superior from what I have seen.
So a misconception that I previously had before speaking with you, Andreas, is that these were maybe longer term rentals or people living there, but it sounds like these are attractions that are short term and very little maintenance.
They are. The park, I'll give you a small example now. We just bought at one park. It had 54 pads. We're in the process of adding an additional 25, so 50% more occupancy. This is on the smaller end of our buy box. So if anyone listens to this that are into RV parks or know our broker or are selling RV parks, like we're typically looking for 100 to 150, where we can do 50% additional capacity on top of that. But yeah, the parks, how do I say this? It's absolutely an attraction. It's absolutely a destination. Often there is a camp store. You need an ice machine. You need to throw some events. But in the end of the day, we're asset managers. So we hire park managers, and it's their jobs to take care of all of this. We, of course, help them with the strategy, get it all in place, put up the right systems, the right automation, the right process. But after that, it's them that maintain it. And then we make sure the park manager is incentivized on keep driving up occupancy and selling a lot of more things in the park. For example, making sure that we build back electricity properly, or making sure that the ice cream is stocked in the camp store, or whatever that is. So yeah, it's like running a small little business. Now, with that said, we're staying away. All the deals we currently have, that we're currently negotiating, we're staying away from restaurants, full service restaurants. If it's just some burgers and fries, I'm all for it. Full restaurants, full sit down menu, we don't want that.
I wasn't aware that this was almost on some level like a small town, and so there's an element to that there. What percentage or roughly would you say of RV parks have all of this going on. You mentioned pickleball, you mentioned attractions, you mentioned food, right? Versus RV parks, which are maybe situated in an area where there is an attraction, but they're not really providing attractions themselves, nor will they have food.
I have met, based on the hundreds we have in our pipeline that we have been reviewing and underwriting, I would say almost all of them have some form of extra attraction or some reason to stay. Now, if you have an RV park that is really close to a city center, you can just, and because you got Starbucks around the corner, you can go to Walmart, whatever. Like then you typically only put in showers and washing facility, because now you're talking more transitional people. Sure, you can have people that stay there monthly as well, but absolutely you're more catering for the actual RV pad itself. You probably won't even have a full-time person working there. It's going to be electronic check-in and all those things. For the parks we are looking at, we wanted to try to keep the monthlies under 20% of the occupancy in the park. We want the transitional ones, the weekend goers. Those are the people we want to attract to the park, because we don't want to deal with tenants. This is one of the main reason why we are currently not actively doing any. Oh, we have a portfolio, but we're not actively acquiring new multifamily. We don't want to deal with tenants. Dealing with people that are on vacation and are there to experience something. They're happy. They're excited. That's much more fulfilling. And when you then you get a lot more good reviews than you get bad reviews compared to multifamily. Let's put it like that. Not saying I'm the best multifamily manager, but we still give our tenants really good care. But it's just different. When people are on vacation, they are happier. And yeah, they're also willing to spend more money, which is why the RV pad itself is, you make money there. It's the majority of the income. But all the surrounding activities, typically in these parks, represents 20 to 40% of the revenue.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So you're looking at buying pre-existing RV parks. For construction of new RV parks, what I'm imagining there's a specific type of permits or zoning that is required. Are areas zoned for RV park, or is it zoned commercial?
So it depends. It really depends. The park we just acquired it's zoned commercial, but then he chopped up a piece of the land and built a 5,000 square foot barnuminium as his primary residence before he sold the park to us. And we now converted that into an Airbnb. So the land is actually split up over multiple parcels with different codes, which makes the whole thing a little tricky. That's a whole discussion by itself. It really depends. We have seen several RV parks that were zoned. Basically, they took just land and rezoned different areas of the land, depending on if they have restaurants, they have a water park, they have all these other things, or just open forest walking trails. It's a little bit mixture, like I said. What's interesting, though, is I mentioned the boomers, and many of them were building things. They bought a big piece of land, they built their primary residence there, and then over time they started developing these RV pads. And building the RV pads is not too expensive, and full hookup and full everything. It's not as big number as you might think. But what happened over time is they were sort of piecemealing on more and more and more. And some of the parks we have looked at recently, they might have been slowly developed over 30 years, and they have over 200 RV pads now and frequent guests that keeps coming back. So I hope I answer your question. It really depends, but it's more commercial than single family. It depends on how the park was developed.
Now I'm thinking about where these parks situated at. It's interesting because I'm in Texas, so there's lots of open land. I've seen a couple of RV parks, don't get me wrong, but they're not always obvious, right? So I'm not going to stumble into an RV park, or if I do now, it's going to be like the red car theory, where now I'm looking and I always see the
You're
RV
gonna see
parks.
them everywhere now. Trust me.
And so I'm thinking is it's in some cases maybe a buffer zone between where you have the city and when you have super rural, you'll have an RV park.
Correct. And especially and they are far into a forest somewhere or in a mountain, or they are just next to a highway.
Mm.
And that's very typical. Where in Texas are you?
So I'm currently in North Texas, DFW Metro, in a town called Denton, which is really closer to Oklahoma than it is Dallas, quite literally. But it's still considered DFW Metro. Before that, I was in San Antonio for 5 years. So I've lived a couple different places in Texas. Liked them both, but if you're doing real estate, DFW Metro is the place to be, expanding like crazy.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
So Dallas, this park we bought now, it's 90 minutes west of Dallas, or Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's out in Eastland, Cisco, two smaller town out
Yep.
there. And it's very close to a highway, but it's located next to a river. And the park is really built like you have the RV park up by the highway, and then down by the river that leads onto Leon Lake, there is a massive camping area. Like I said, 25 acres. And then there is a 250,000 gallon spring-fed pool that is a destination. People come from Dallas, go there over the weekend, and that pool, it can cover hundreds of people. So I'm just saying, like, but still, it's next to a highway. But people come there, they stay the weekend, and they have an amazing time, and they walk the forest out there and go out on the lake and do all these other things.
Hmm.
But yeah, they're either, but so why, if we now take this specific park, why don't we have a big camp store there? Because it's 10 minutes to Walmart. There is a whole, you can go to restaurants and other things. We might have we have basic sodas and water and ice, but that's it. Another park we looked at was almost 2 hours in Arkansas, into the woods, by a lake. And when we arrived there the first time, I felt like, okay, if I get murdered here, no one will ever find out about it. And it was really, really rural. But we got in there, we drove for a forest through a gravel road, come in, and there are like 100 freaking RVs in there, and a beautiful lake. I'm like, okay, why? What happened here? But the fishing culture there, and the bass fishing, it's just next to a lake. But there, a massive camp store is needed because you're probably looking at half an hour, 40 minutes to the closest convenience store. So
Wow. Yeah.
you have to inspect and adapt. And this is what I mean. You can't be, I don't know if you know the visionary integrator concept in business is basically the person who sees the vision and this grandiose thing, everything you can do. And then you have the chief operating officer, the integrator, who typically goes like, well, does that really make sense? A lot of these parks, just because you can do it, you shouldn't do it. We have stumbled and visited parks where people, it feels like they're making a mini Disney in the middle of nowhere. And I mean, you will never get the return on that. And the upkeep and the maintenance is just not worth it. But that's why you have to look at what's the bare minimum attractions you need to make it a destination for people to drive at least 2 to 4 hours to get there and then spend the weekend. Then you have something really good going for you.
So what would be the pull for people who would think I'm either going to go to an RV park versus I'm going to go to treehouse Airbnb in Arkansas?
So first of all, if we take Texas or a lot of the southern states, RVs are very, very, very common. You want to go with your own things. You want to have, typically you just don't go, you have fishing equipment, you have hiking equipment, you want to bring your own barbecue. And yeah, some people, if you're a city person, you don't have kids, yeah, you might be perfectly fine in a small little house somewhere that has been like, you go for the experience, the Instagram moment. A lot of RV goers are either families with smaller kids where the parents are just freaking tired of having their kids on an iPad all the time in front of a screen, and they want to reconnect with their children. Most RV park goers we are seeing in this specific park are absolutely in that category. Kids that are 5 to 15 years old, they want to sit in front around a campfire, some s'mores, and just experience a weekend without the screen and connect as a family again. That's the type of park goers we're seeing. But if you're younger, single, don't have kids, yeah, it might be easier to go to the Instagram perfect Airbnb somewhere or the mini home somewhere or so on. And then
I'm
the
think I'm thinking about the demographic, Andreas, of a person who owns an RV. You know, it's not a nominal fee, right? It's fairly costly to own an RV, right? So it's more than a truck, less than a home, right? So you're thinking about buying an RV, right? So uh, these people who are using the RV parks, how frequently are they going? And are you finding that you get lots of people going very often, or is it more like almost a once a year type of excursion?
No, absolutely. There are multiple demographics here. Okay, so if I break down the last one, I would add in terms of the families, but then you have the boomers, the retirees who want to drive around the country. And then when you have parks in the south that is warmer, you have a lot of winter Texans, for example, people who drive from all the states around to just not freeze over the winter.
Hmm.
Um, I think that what we have seen so far is this is a lifestyle. This is people, instead of, I don't know, playing golf in the weekend, these are people who want to be either nostalgic or an experience what they had as kids growing up as a family now. But they're absolutely coming back over and over and over again. What they typically do in the summertime frame. So the real season for the one I mentioned now in outside of Dallas is really 3.5 months of the year. 85%, 90% of the revenue comes from that time frame. The park is full. People come from all over the states before, and it's typically people who travels around, and they travel around over the summer time frame over months. And then the last comment I would say, there's also a whole thing called glamping, which
Yeah.
is glamorous camping, luxury camping. Those RVs, I mean, we're talking $1 million. They are literally a small home, luxury home on wheels. Especially the motor homes there. I've been in one, and when I sat, I'm a 6'3" tall, and like I had plenty of headspace. I'm like, here's a lot of space in this, and it's a luxury style. I really, if I ever buy one, I'll get one of those for myself. But you would be surprised if we now take the step back and we look at all of this. So why am I doing this? Why am I excited about it? So I need to tell you, the listeners, and you, just super brief. I've been investing in real estate since 2014. I've been both an LP. I have run multiple things myself. I'm an angel investor, so I invest in a lot of startups, tech companies. I do private money lending and other investment vehicles, just to sum it up quick. The returns I'm seeing here are for much, much better than I have seen on many of the other asset classes, including multifamily.
Hmm.
And as an investor, sure, you're running a business. Absolutely. You're running a business, you have to deal with staff. Or you can hire people that are kind of like property managers, but park managers in the RV space. But the returns are really, really good. I have networked my way into people who owns 50 parks plus, and they are making a lot of money. Many of them comes from multifamily even. And why is there an opportunity now as an investor? It's because the boomers are retiring. They held this park for a long time. They don't know what to do with it. There aren't enough buyers out there. And in the end of the day, you're actually helping someone who otherwise, if they have to sell it and they sell it at a much lower rate, maybe they've been degrading it for a while. They haven't really been keeping up with maintenance. They're worried about selling it. And now they're selling it and they are afraid of a tax hit because they have sat with this for so long. And now I come and I'm like, okay, what price do you want? And then let's talk about the terms. And they get to see their, like the park we just bought, the seller had one real requirement on the whole sentiment of this park. And that was that we kept part of the name because it was his grandmother's name. And like, of course we'll do that. But anyway, sorry, I went, so by trying to show like from an investor perspective, like, yes, it is a business. Yes, there are a lot of diversity in it. Yes, there's a lot of things you have to oversee, but you can absolutely delegate it, set it up with the right management system, appeal to a larger audience, still have it fairly hands-off as an investment, and make insane returns.
I'm thinking, Andreas, about just how many people would probably be interested in the RV park space if they knew that they could get into it, right?
Yeah.
And so hearing you talk about it, it really simplifies it down and distills it to a perspective of like, if I'm going to be in the commercial space and I want to be dealing with people who are relatively, you talked about it, on vacation, right? So lower maintenance, they're not the same type of demographic. And on top of that, you're seeing returns that are outpacing multifamily. This is like ripe for people to come in and to invest right now while they can, and while we're in this transitory phase where you mentioned the boomers selling these businesses, and like their loan requirement is just keep the name, right? It's not something too outrageous. It's keep the name.
Keep the name. And the park we bought now was fairly small, but the seller, he was amazing to work with, by the way. He said like, this is the price I want for it. I want to keep the name. And we're modifying the name. We're keeping the main name, her name. It's called Ines. So our Ines, and Ines we're keeping, and then it's Ines. We're adding RV Park in there because he had a different name. But we're keeping that. And then, by the way, we're updating the website before you Google it. Wait, check back in a month. But what I was saying is that what he wanted to make sure he didn't have a tax hit. He wanted to spread it out. They're in their mid-60s, would be my guess. They wanted to spread it out over a 10-year time frame. We negotiated this. I can say everything I say now, by the way, is all pro forma, all estimates, and so on. But what I'm about to say is actual numbers. We negotiated interest only for 7 years at a blended rate of 3%. And if you get blended rate at 3% and most of it is seller financed, the returns for the investors are obviously really high because you can't really secure that type of debt anywhere else today if you go to a bank. Like I'm seeing 6.5% to 7.5%.
Yeah, so it'd be double the cost.
Yeah. And
when people are looking at this, Andreas, and they're thinking, how do I approach these RV park owners currently? Is it in the places where people go to buy other types of businesses? Are you now, because you're in the industry, are you now running into more of these people? Are they selling them on specific sites? Where are people going to buy RV parks?
They do go to the normal places, the Crexi of the world, or where. And I'll give away a little secret. We're not seeing too many people out doing this right now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it, because I actually think part of me want to help these people who want to retire. And I also want to create more awareness of an investment opportunity that I think many people are missing because they associate it with mobile homes and lower class tenants. And this is not what it is at all. We actually find a lot of deals that are mislisted as a business. I'll give you that secret. So if wherever, I forgot her name, but I see one on social media all the time talking about private equity and buying businesses.
Cody?
Yes. And it's the same places you would find where you find deals there. It's surprising how often people have listed a restaurant, or they have listed it as a water park. Oh, by the way, yeah, we have 150 pads as well, and a full-fledged business. They list it as to what they are emotionally attached to and believe in. And sometimes they are listed by some brokers, exceptionally good. They understand the RV space.
Yeah.
Most brokers do not transact too many RV parks. So what they end up listing them as is sometimes even a multifamily building.
Very interesting. It's probably one of these deals where there's a lot of RV parks, which are probably, as you mentioned, up for sale potentially, or people are looking to make an exit. But this hasn't been so common in the previous decades. Of course, it's existed, but it hasn't been what it is now. But the need for maybe a specialized broker to come and list these properly on scale is there now. So there's just so many ways that you can attack this. I'm thinking about it as an agent myself, and I'm thinking like, man, I never thought about selling RV parks. How cool would that be?
And often, like the brokers that gets excited about it, we have one now. Shout out to a person in Georgia. I don't want to list names here, but basically, we said after talking with that person back and forth, I'm going there on Monday, and he have scrambled up 3 parks that we're visiting all on Monday. And but all of them underwrites with, I'm going to say underwrites now, so I'm prefacing the numbers. They're underwriting at, can I say the numbers?
Yeah.
They're underwriting at 3 to 4x returns over 5 years. They're underwriting at closer to 30% IRR. They're underwriting at 17 to 20% cash on cash. And
Wow.
like those are some really good returns. And then the one rule we say, if there are brokers out there who listens to this, like we would love to work with you. The one rule I have is we have to be able to talk to the seller ourselves, or the broker have to be, or the agents have to be really good at seller financing, creative financing, because you can normally not structure a deal if you go like, oh, you need institutional money, you need to go to the bank, or you need whatever loan you need. And by the way, they want this price as well. You can always make a deal if the price is too high, but the terms are really good. We can make a deal. If the price is lower, but the terms are awful, we can still make a deal. But when terms end, if the price is high and the terms suck, we can't make a deal. And that's typically, if you list it as a multifamily and think multifamily, that's often the case. But if someone is exceptionally good at creative financing, we're all for having the discussion, or I'm perfectly fine with having an agent in between. But you often need this. The seller need to get the price they need. They often don't need the money right now. They don't want a tax hit. And the broker agent still gets paid. Like, it's nothing different there. We just have to make sure it's seller finance. The deal we just got, sorry, I just got to put this out there.
Yeah.
It is a combination of seller financing, acquiring debt with subject to, or sub to debt, basically taking over an existing commercial mortgage. And it's also built in a way where the person is helping us with the construction and overseeing the construction of 50% capacity expansion.
Now, in these, I'm curious, when you're assuming these loans, are you assuming it and then it's being put in your name, or are you assuming it and then the debt stays with the seller?
The debt stays with the seller.
Okay. So interesting.
And it's put in land trusts and all these other things to protect everyone on it. But you have to do that in order for it to not become an issue. I'm not an expert myself. We have people on the team that have done a lot of creative deals. There are transaction coordinators as well, so they know how to structure them.
Yeah.
But always work with a lawyer that is very experienced of how to set these up. Even the seller finance part, like there needs to be, if you come in with less money, there got to be recourses if you don't fulfill your part of that. And we have to, even if we as GP on now that we have GPs and LPs and we raise capital and blah, blah, blah. But we're making sure, like in the end of the day, we're protecting the LPs, we're protecting ourselves. and it needs to be protecting the seller as well. I want to sleep good at night. I'm not an investor who want to take advantage of people. Like, I think we die with our integrity, and it's one of the last things we will think of on our deathbeds, which means that for me, like, I don't want to hustle this, and yeah, I want to sleep good. So I want to make sure everyone is covered.
Yeah, that's critical, especially with these creative deals. Andreas, we are coming up on time here. Where can folks go to get a hold of you?
Instagram is the best way. Andreas, the CEO. So Andreas, the CEO. It's on my little tag. So if they're watching this afterwards, it's on my tag down here. I answer everything on Instagram myself. If you reach out on LinkedIn, which I'm also very active on, it gets diluted with all the spam I get on LinkedIn. So please reach out on Instagram. I answer all my messages myself. If anyone listened to this and you're like, hey, where can I get started on this, or where can I learn more? Reach out to me. Like, I love talking about these things. If you want ideas of what the deals should underwrite for, if you want to understand how we find the deals, because some of the deals I didn't really talk about here, how we find, because there are some secret sauce to this. Reach out. Like, I don't mind telling you. I just don't want to put it out too broadly, because we are still ramping up in the methods we're doing to get really good deal flow right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, folks, if you're in the investment space and you're thinking about different vehicles, this really was eye-opening for me. And I think a lot of folks are listening just like I am, thinking, wow, I didn't think I could get into that. Andreas, thank you for giving away some game without giving away all the game. Folks can reach out to you directly. And thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And also, if there are any investors who want to invest with us, please reach out to me for that as well. I forgot to say that before. Thank you so much, Dylan.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.